So it went viral and my post ended up in the lawsuit. That was how big it was. I think I had 10 million views over that week. So it went mega viral to a point that I was getting contacted by People Magazine, the LA Times. It was crazy. And I was just a person in my house just talking about marketing a movie. And then it turned into one of the largest scandals in Hollywood history. So that was an interesting experience for me to accidentally stumble into a story that I wasn't expecting.
Hello, friend, and welcome. I'm Tammy Enfield, brand strategist, marketing expert, and creator of the Candid content framework. Through conversations with creators just like you and sharing stories from brands and thought leaders, we'll harness the power of authenticity and give you the confidence to create content that empowers you and your audience. If you're ready to build a kinder, more empathetic world, then you're in the right place. Welcome to the Candid Content Revolution. Well, hey friends, thanks for joining me again on the Candid Content Revolution. I'm excited about today's guest. Her name is Jenna Redfield. I met her pre-pandemic, probably 2019. She lives in the Twin Cities, and I first met her because she wanted a story brand guide on her podcast. So I was on her podcast a long time ago, and then we ran into each other again, and I was telling her about my personal brand message map, and she was telling me how she does a ton of video for people. She does this video in a day thing, VIP day, and we were talking about how the personal brand message map in my work is the step before her work, which is the amplification and the visibility piece. I thought she'd be a really great guest because this whole podcast is about the power of authentic content, the power of authenticity, and video is obviously a huge piece of content. And it isn't always everyone's favorite way to both consume or create. I can say that it is not my favorite, but it is my goal to push myself a little bit beyond my comfort zone and hopefully get to creating videos for myself. But Jenna gives some really great tips. If you're interested in how video could help you reach more people and be more visible, this episode is for you. If you say hell no to video, I would encourage you to listen to it because maybe some pieces of it will change your mind. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Jenna, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Hi, Jenna.
Hi.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you are, what you do?
For sure. So my name is Jenna Redfield. I am a social media video creator for both myself and for clients. So I have a degree in film production. So I have a background in video, and I kind of have been doing it on and off for the last 10 years. And now I do something called a VIP video day, which helps people with recording all at once, all local people here in the Twin Cities. And I found that people need lots of content and they need it filmed in one batch. And they also want to not do any of the editing. So that's the stuff that I help with.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
well, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So it's helping people show up on camera and I'm asking them questions. It's a lot of interview style for personal branding use. And so I found that this VIP video day has been very successful in terms of people loving the way that it's all done in one day. And they only have to be there for 4 hours. And then I edit for 4 hours and then they get all the videos by the end of the day. So it's really, really structured in the setup. And then on the other half of my business is more of a creator side. It's called the Optimization Toolbox. And that's my podcast.
You just relaunched this, didn't you? Well, yeah, you relaunched a Notion course.
Podcast has been the Optimization Toolbox for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And so I have a Substack now, which is kind of my main platform for sending out the podcast. It's also my newsletter. And I just relaunched my Notion course. So I teach Notion on YouTube, and I also teach stuff around ADHD, autism. Digital organization is a huge one. So how to organize your computer, your
With
files,
ADHD,
your photos.
That is an interesting.
It is good. Like a lot of people need help with it. And so I found a good niche. Like honestly, my Google photos videos on YouTube are some of my highest performing. And so eventually I'm going to launch like a mini Google Photos
Yeah,
course.
you should. I'm assuming that the people coming to you for that product specifically are probably my age.
I would say mostly millennials.
Yeah, I'm like technically Gen X.
Okay, because I'm a millennial. So I kind of feel like people tend to be around my age.
I'm in that interesting thing where I was like born analog, but then graduated digital. Like
Yeah.
there was that weird time of
For
like,
sure.
I remember having the rotary phone, but also a cell phone.
I do remember both of those. I got a cell phone in 8th grade and it was a brick phone. So I didn't get an iPhone
See, I was
until
in college. I was in college.
Okay, I was in college when I got an iPhone. So that's my age.
Okay, so obviously Candid content revolution is all about the power of content and the power of authenticity. And video is a topic that I have not tackled yet because I don't do a lot of it, Jenna. I think you can be authentic without it.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yes.
But the power of video is obviously, it's unmatched, I think. I think podcasts are really like you're in someone's ear for a really long time. So I think that's good. But like the next form of getting to know me should probably be video. I want to talk about how you help people overcome the challenge. The video in a day thing is great, but holding someone's energy that long, how do you prepare for it?
Yeah.
And then B, just like tools to get more visible, how to show up authentically.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to learn is that you're not going to be perfect right away. And I think that practice is everything.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest struggles most people have is watching themselves back. It's not going on camera, it's watching themselves back. Yeah. It's editing their own face.
Do you ever turn Zoom off? Like I had to turn like where I couldn't see myself when I was like presenting because I was so distracted by how I looked.
I think I've just gotten so used to it and I just
know what I look like. But is that like a tool that if they're trying to video themselves, can they turn off?
So one thing you could do is you could set up your phone to not have the front camera.
Okay.
That's what I do with clients is I'm sitting here with a camera pointing at them like this.
Yeah, then they can't see themselves. But they're not editing themselves either. So if I don't have you.
True. They do have to post it though and see it on social. So that's the one thing that they do have to do. And sometimes people get to the point where they see it and they're like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to post it. There's like fear along every single step of the video.
Yeah.
And I think you just have to tell yourself, this is a benefit to me and to my clients. If I'm not going to share this, no one's going to learn from me.
So I get hung up in the hook.
Ooh, okay.
I can overthink the hook, right? Like I can talk all day long about how cool it is to be authentic and my Candid content framework and blah, 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 blah. But I know you have to grab people in that first like 0.2 seconds. I don't know.
Yeah, that stops people, right?
Yeah,
and I think
overthinking the hook.
I think the worst hook you can ever have in your entire life is, hi, my name is Jenna. Like that is the worst hook ever. So as long as you're not doing that, you're good.
Okay.
I think starting with a statement that is giving context to what you're about to say, that's all you need. And then people are going to be like, tell me more. So you could start with a story. You could start with, I was just talking to a client the other day and they told me blah, blah, blah. And it's people like, listen, they're like, what did the client say? So you're almost like putting yourself in the middle of a conversation. The way that I do is I ask a question and then they're repeating the question in a sense and then answering it again.
Yeah. The interview piece of it could be easy. Is it all talking head videos that you're filming?
For the most part. Yeah.
Is that what's doing the best right now? Is those talking head videos?
Well, a lot of people are using them for LinkedIn specifically.
Yeah, I've noticed this lately.
Unfortunately, I just saw a post yesterday that LinkedIn is actually not going to be really like creator focused. They kind of went that way for the last couple of years. And now they've realized it makes them no money.
I saw that.
So I was like, okay, but at the same time, one of the things, this is actually a video I'm going to be posting next week, is you think just because you don't get any likes or maybe a couple of likes, doesn't mean people aren't seeing it. People see it.
Oh yeah, it's the lurkers.
And then what happens? Like if you see them at a networking event, I run into you or I run into someone and I'm like, oh my gosh, how are you? They're like, Jenna, I see you all the time on LinkedIn. They tell me this. I'm not kidding, on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that post reached 177 people.
Yeah, exactly. Which that's a lot of people if you think about it.
Right.
Like I know that doesn't sound like a lot if you think of like TikTok numbers.
Right.
Like I had 18 million views on TikTok last year, which I think is too many views because I went viral a couple of times.
That's
but
cool.
it was cool. But I'm also like, that's a lot of people seeing my face.
You're not a millionaire? Is that what you know?
No,
you're not a millionaire.
No, like I did make some money, like not enough to live off of. And honestly, like the thing is the only things that do well on TikTok are controversial stuff, I find. So I did some of that.
Yeah, this is a good lead into authenticity. The ones that went viral, were they challenging viewpoints? Was it something you believed? Was it
like I was in the news? Like that's how viral they went. Basically, I was one of the first people to talk about the Blake and Ryan story. Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Justin Baldoni story. I was one of the first ones that
this
ever
is fairly
talked about
recent.
This was in August. So it went viral and my post ended up in the lawsuit. Like it was like a whole thing. Like it was, like that was how big it was. I think I had 10 million views over that week. Wow. So it went mega viral to a point that I was getting contacted by People Magazine, the LA Times.
Oh my gosh.
It was crazy. And I was like, I was just a person in my house just talking about marketing a movie. And then it turned into one of the largest scandals in Hollywood history. And I was literally in the Vanity Fair article about it. I was like, okay, this was like a whole thing. So that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes going viral is for things that have nothing to do with your business aren't always the best, but I learned so much from it. I learned about PR. I learned so much. I ended up speaking at St. Thomas about PR after this happened because I was like, there's so many things that I thankfully had taken in media law class that while this was happening, I was like, I cannot perjure myself. Everything I'm finding is alleged. It was a whirlwind of a month for me. And then I completely stopped talking about it because I was like, this is way too much. This is not what I want my brand to be. So that was something that actually was a very interesting experience for me was who do I want to be? Yeah. Do I want to be an entertainment journalist? Not really. I find it interesting because I'm autistic. I tend to be really good at pattern recognition. So I tend to predict things before they happen. And on TikTok, that's a really good skill to have. But does that benefit me? Because my goal is I want to help businesses. I'm like, that's completely opposite of what I wanted. So I could have ridden that wave and probably made a career out of that, but I didn't really want to. It felt inauthentic to me. I didn't want to be like a gossipy person.
Yeah.
I literally started the videos as talking about the marketing of a movie. And then it turned into something's going on behind the scenes in Hollywood. So that was an interesting experience for me to like accidentally stumble into a story that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah. Is it a fear of your clients when they're going on video that they will go viral?
No, because a lot of them are talking about their business. And so I think they probably fear being canceled if they say the wrong thing, maybe. Thankfully, being on the internet for 10 plus years and this happening at that point in my life, I knew I was like, this is going to blow over in a month. No one's going to remember it, which is true. It happened.
And not everybody saw it.
So people for months though, after would ask me about it. People I knew because they were following it.
Right.
And they're like, Jenna, I saw you on the news or I saw you in an article. And I was like, oh my God, like I didn't want people to know I had TikTok. Yeah. Like that's the thing about TikTok. It does feel kind of anonymous sometimes. And then you realize so many people are watching it. So I think that, again, this is like the opposite problem. This is like going too viral, but like most people struggle with even getting views. Like they struggle with the opposite of getting attention, which is what you're honestly looking for is attention.
Right.
Your video is to get people's eyeballs on you. And some people just don't like attention. And unfortunately, that's what marketing is attention. Yeah. It's getting people to take a look at you, understand what do you do?
What's the proper length for a marketing video?
I always say no more than 2 minutes when it comes to short form content. However, on YouTube, 10 to 15 to 20, that's fine. Podcasts up to an hour.
So how do you get someone's attention?
Again, the hook is a good thing, but also just their face. People just like seeing other people's faces. There's like stats about how when you see faces, you're more likely to sit and watch something than if it's just like a bunch of, stock photos or,
stock video.
So for me, my goal isn't what the message is. It's people seeing my face.
So when you edit the videos, are you putting any stock in those or is it all talking head?
It's all talking head for now, just because I'm like, that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
And to be able to get that many in a day, I can't like do a ton of editing on every single one.
Yeah.
So it's like, to me, it's about quantity and quality over just quality and like posting it once a month. Like that's not going to work if you need to show up a lot in order for people to remember you. One of my biggest focuses in the next year is teaching memorability, because I think that's the biggest thing that I have found is if people watch your content, but they don't remember your name, that's not going to help when somebody asks, oh, what have you been watching lately? Or who's a person I should connect with? Or who should I follow? One of the things that I've done is I have really tried to make my name as part of the videos. A lot of my branding is red. And so I also have a red name tag that I wear to events. And it has my first and last name. It has nothing else about me, just my name.
Yep, so people can remember it.
So that's also subconscious. And, my business cards have red on it. So, and I tell people that. And then I actually posted a photo this week on LinkedIn and somebody commented like, oh, you were wearing red. Like they said, like it's become a thing that people know about me.
So one of the things I do with the personal brand message map is we have key phrases that we pull out. So like polished is performative is one of mine. So like I talk about vulnerability a lot, and like if you're being polished, you're not probably showing up unmasked. I don't want people to think that so for video, polished, obviously you can show up in a way that you feel proud of. Makeup, filters, whatever it might be. I don't think that you have to show up without makeup or crying underneath your desk to be authentic, right? Like I always tell people that, like you can tell a story, a personal story without showing yourself crying in the car.
Yeah. Well, I actually did have a client cry on camera recently, and it was the first time that happened. Yeah.
If it's something real and it's evoking emotion in them and they feel confident sharing it, that's one thing. I had a client cry because she was so scared. So like we recorded the first 3 through tears, and then she kind of got over it and recorded. Because like you, I do interview style, you know, with the clients that aren't around, I do Zoom, but mine aren't. I wouldn't say I do the TikTok videos or the Instagram reels. I'm more of the like 2-minute thought leadership.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do, but it's vertical, so it could be shared on any platform. So that's why I make it vertical. So you can share it on YouTube Shorts, you can share it on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
I have found that the ones that are landscape do better performative wise, like reach and impressions on LinkedIn than the vertical video on LinkedIn.
It's interesting because they do have the vertical video feed. So that is why I try to make it vertical. But I mean, it depends. I should maybe try more horizontal as well.
One of my clients and I tried it out, and we did them both and similar topics. I think
it's because it's not used as much maybe. So it's almost like unique. And also if it's on desktop, maybe I think it would probably work better. But I haven't really tried that, but I think it's because I know that there's the LinkedIn vertical video feed. I've always just made it for that. Plus, if I'm making it for multi-use, I'm going to make it vertical. Like in this day and age, it's like vertical first is kind of how I think of social media. And I also like limiting obviously under 3 minutes, because that's the max for most things is 3 minutes. Like YouTube Shorts is now 3 minutes. I think Reels is 3 minutes. TikTok is up to 10 minutes. So I just try to keep it under 3, and I try not to go over 2, because I think once it gets to 2 minutes, it's like, okay, what are you saying?
Yeah. And are you putting captions on the whole thing? Yep.
Captions are great because a lot of people watch it
without sound.
Without sound.
Yeah. In some of my content strategy, I don't advise putting the same content on every platform because the audience is different.
True. I think for my people, they're not doing video at all. And so any content's better than no content. That's kind of where I'm at is they don't have time to make content for every platform. They just don't. And they wouldn't post anything otherwise. So it's like one thing is better than the rest. Yeah. So for me, this is busy CEO types. They're not content creators. Obviously, if you're a content creator, yes. My TikTok content is very different than my Instagram, but that's because I'm a content creator and I'm really focused on that. These are people that are just trying to promote their business and show themselves as a thought leader. So for me, I'm like, let's just do it all one day and at least get some video out there. It's better than nothing.
Are you working with mainly B2B or B2C?
It's a mix. I would say lately it's more B2B because it's a lot of business owners that are trying to get clients, but from like LinkedIn. So they're trying to get other professionals. So it's not so much like reaching the masses. They're trying to find a specific audience, or like referrals or that sort of thing. So I guess B2B in that sense. Okay. But I think for B2C, like I don't do a lot of like product-based businesses as much. This is service-based thought leadership type content is really my bread and butter. I have like one client right now where I'm doing like home remodeling videos, which is very different, but it also is video. It's before and afters, but I have those skills as well. So it's not like I just know how to do video interviews. I've been doing every type of video ever. So I have experience across the board. So I can do it. It's just, I like talking to people.
You and I were talking a few weeks ago at a networking event, and when we were re-educating each other on what we do for a living, we kind of came to the conclusion that like the personal brand message map might be the step before what you are doing for people.
I feel like mine is the last step. It's like you have to figure out who you are and what you want to say first. And then my goal is amplification and visibility, because I think even if you know who you are, if no one knows who you are and no one can find you. And like, to me, like lead generation is a huge part of what I help people with is like, how do I get found? How do people know who I am? How do I become memorable? How do people discover me? Discoverability, like that is almost easier than ever because of social media.
Yeah.
But you're also competing against everyone.
Yeah. There's a flood of content. So once someone comes to you and they know what they are, they know what they want to say.
Yes.
How do you ensure that the videos connect with people?
I think it's just my years of experience in what do people want to know about you. So one of the things I think about it as is what are your frequently asked questions? What are the things that you're constantly explaining? How can we turn that into a video that also is searchable? So if somebody's searching for it, we also have to think about SEO when it comes to these videos. It's not always coming across your feed. It's if somebody's Googling this on YouTube, does your video show up? For example, one of my clients was a chiropractor in Eden Prairie. We were showing some videos about them. If you look up chiropractor Eden Prairie on YouTube, there was like nothing. Like if you think about it, there was like nobody's making shorts, no one's making videos. If they put a video up every week for the next 20, 30 weeks, they're going to be flooding that search and everything is going to come up with them. So that's what I'm saying. Like if somebody's searching for that, and then that's going to come up on the Google results and that's going to influence the Google results. So for me, I think about video not just as like going viral or like being seen the first time you share it. It's also about keywords and search because my YouTube channel, most people find it through search. I would say 80% of my videos come from people searching for the thing that I'm teaching or I'm talking about. That is most the people that discover my content. So I always think of it, your video might not hit within the first month. I have videos that took off a year later, especially long form. But with short form too, I have my most viewed video is from a year ago on YouTube Shorts. And it's about how to organize your Spotify. I'm not kidding. Every time I post a video about Spotify, viral. Because everyone uses Spotify and no one's talking about how to organize it. Yeah. So it's enough users, but also like a niche enough that like people are actually maybe searching how to like organize my Spotify and no one is talking about it. So finding something where there's enough search, but not enough content is your sweet spot. Well, and that's why I actually love ChatGPT for this is doing research of what are people searching for that there's not enough content on. If you start making content on that.
Is that a good question to ask Chat?
Yes.
Okay.
And I do deep research. So deep research on ChatGPT is great because it helps me figure out what are the search terms people are looking for. It helps me with ranking with tags on YouTube specifically. Like YouTube has way more strategy than any other platform, more than TikTok, more than LinkedIn. Like YouTube is a beast, but it's also one of the most effective because its staying power is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So going back to someone who's nervous about showing up on video or afraid of being themselves. You and I, we had a previous conversation that talked through the what are some of the hangups people have with showing up authentically. And it's, in my experience, it's usually they're afraid of being judged. They're not confident. Maybe they don't think they have anything interesting to say. How do you tie, your marketer, how do you tie personal stories into professional content?
I think one of the things is, what are you telling people already? What are the stories you're talking about every day, every week? Because you are telling stories. You just may not think about it. You have examples. When I'm working with a client one-on-one and I have to ask them specific prompts to get them to think of a story sometimes. Because they're like, oh yeah, that did happen to me once. There's always going to be something that pops into your head. So as long as there's no names involved or if you're including other people in the story, just being able to just tell a story is the first step.
Tying some past experience into their profession.
I think talking about, I hate to say it, but talking about other people or other things sometimes is easier than talking about yourself when you first start. Yeah. So for me, I could talk about an example of something that happened. Or one of the things I love watching is when a person is talking about something in their industry and giving their thoughts on it. So whether it's using the green screen behind them, which you can do that on like Instagram stories or on TikTok, where you can like point at things. So they're showing their expertise without talking about themselves, but they're also
showing a point of view.
Yeah. So I think it really depends on if you want to be known as you or if you want to be known as an expert. I think it really depends on what your goals are for your content. So I never like to give blanket advice to anyone because everything is so subjective depending on your goals. And I think this is true for health. I think this is true for everything. Like you can't just be like, everyone should do this. There are definitely things that I would recommend. But for example, my family doesn't share a lot on social media. I'm like the only person that shares. and they're very private. And I'm like, I'm not going to convince them to share more. Like that's just, they don't have a business. They don't need to. They want to protect their children. Like I get that. And people are scared about that part of, am I oversharing? Like one of the things I always recommend is like never post in real time where you are. So like if you're on stories, post it after you get home. Just from a safety perspective, like people, can find you. I think overcoming fear of being seen is something that you have to really think back to. What's your goal? Is your goal to get more money, to get more clients? If so, you kind of have to overcome that fear. It's almost like you have to just grit and bear it. The first part is the hardest. Once you get through, it gets easier and easier as you go. I will say that's like, it's like when you're pushing a rock down a cliff, like the first couple pushes are really hard and then it starts rolling, So I think that's true with video too. And there are people that need prep. There's people that don't need prep. For me, I like to work with people who can just kind of roll with the punches. They're so good at what they do that they just have a million stories. So I think for me, I tend to work with people who have been in their career at least a decade. It's harder to work with somebody newer in the field because they have to be constantly Googling things that they just don't know it to their core. I think the more you know what you teach or what you do, it's going to be so much easier for you to talk about it because you talk about it every day. You talk with clients, you talk with patients, you talk with whoever. You have to take some of that expertise and some of that confidence and just apply it to video. And it might take some time, but that's why I like the way that I do it is you just feel like you're talking to me because there's just a camera in between.
Yeah. Do you think it's a quicker way to connect?
Video just in general?
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Because you're seeing their face, you're seeing their expressions.
What if someone has an RBF?
Don't show that part. I don't know. Just be talking the whole time.
I have a really good RBF and I've been told it shows up real well on Zoom when I'm thinking.
If you're making a video, you're usually not sitting there. If you're on a podcast and someone's talking, you might have a face, but if you're doing short form content, there's usually no breaks. You're cutting the breaks. You're literally talking the entire time. And you can always edit. That's why I don't like going live because I'm like, you can't really edit lives. So the nice thing about recording something is you can always edit it.
So do you think this is always a question, right? Like I made a post yesterday on LinkedIn about my use of ChatGPT and how it's kind of a tug of war sometimes because it's like, is it actually authentic if it's coming from chat? And so this would be a common question is, well, if it's edited, it's not, is it authentic?
Yes, because no one wants to listen to the pauses and the awkwardness because you probably do that in real life and you have to go through that when you're listening to someone. But if you're listening to a really good speaker at a TEDx, there's no editing.
Yeah.
They're really, really prepared. I'm going to TEDx in August. You should come.
I saw that. Yeah, I should.
I've never been, but also they don't edit those. I don't think it's really what happens on stage.
I think they might. Maybe, I guess I don't know. I have one client that did one, but
those people have to be so prepared.
I know.
They spend a year on just practicing.
I know.
And obviously look at Shark Tank. They have to edit down a 45-minute to an hour-long pitch to 5 minutes. So the nice thing about editing is that it is the highlights, but it's not like you're adding things in that are fake. I think that's the thing people think is you're adding, I don't know, you're adding something. You're just cutting what doesn't work to the main core point, which is what you do with writing, which is what you do with anything. Editing to me is making it more palatable for the person that's consuming it. Because if it takes 10 minutes to get to the point, people are not going to sit around for that. But if you cut to the punchline, that's why I like shorts, because it's the best part of the hour-long video. They find 1 minute. That's great. I would rather that's shareable. That's consumable. And so for me, I've always been an editor. That's been my my main part of why I love video is I love taking a large piece and cutting it to the best parts and figuring out what's going to move people, what's going to make people laugh, or what's going to show the best parts of things and maybe the worst parts of things, whatever the context is. But that moves people more than just sitting for an hour and be maybe 45 minutes in, you're like, oh, that was really interesting. Oh, now I'm bored again. I don't know. I think it's finding those moments and really that's what social media is.
Well, and it's a good point that you say, you edit your written word. Why wouldn't you edit a video?
To me, unedited video is a bad first draft. I rarely edit my own podcast because it's everything I'm saying I have thought about And there's not a lot of breaks, but then there's some times where it's like, okay, do I cut that because it's not interesting? I don't know. I don't really think about it from a podcast perspective, but whenever I'm making a short video, I really think. So I used to do this series called Trails and Tales where I'd walk with people and I'd interview them. And it would be about a 20 to 30 minute interview. And I'd have to cut it down to 5 minutes. And that was such a good experience because I'm like, what hit with me? What did I think about after the conversation that I wanted to share? So I wouldn't edit it immediately. I would take a couple days and I would think about, okay, from that conversation, what stuck out with me?
Can you imagine if you would have had AI back then?
This was like 2 years ago.
Oh,
so I was still using AI. It was more of, I used AI a little bit because I use the tools on CapCut to like read through. And so I can just erase like I'm editing a piece of paper or whatever.
You can do that on Descript too.
Yeah, it's similar. And I think the biggest thing is what hits with people. So I think one of the nice things about me with making videos is I'll tell people I liked that. Right after they record, I'd tell them, I'm like, that resonated with me, or that was good, do more like that. And people can kind of understand in the moment of like, oh, like I went more in detail on that, or, oh, it was a specific tip or something. Like, I think you realize as you're saying it, what you're good at. Yeah. And I think that's helpful for people.
Cool. Okay. So what I've heard today is that knowing who you are and what you want to say is vital.
Yes.
It takes practice to become confident. And video is what we all need to get over if we want to be seen.
I think so. That's my opinion.
How can people find you, Jenna?
Yeah. So the main way is on my Substack. So jennaredfield.substack.com. I have my YouTube video linked on there. Search my name on any platform. It's just at Jenna Redfield. LinkedIn, I'm very active. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Those are the main ones.
Awesome. So, okay. I'll hook those all up in the show notes. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been fun to talk video.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you.